So we're here to talk through this even-odd Sudoku puzzle. It's one where I think a counter strategy or a strategy just for even-odd Sudokus work well, which is for a while don't even look at digits per se, but try to just shade the puzzle to split it into a full even-odd Sudoku. That is to say, one where you know where all the even digits go and where all the odd digits go. You can take a scenario like this column already having the 4 evens marked and put in the remaining cells as odd. You can see, I guess, in different ways. For instance, this region had 5 odds, including the 9 as an odd. This column, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, has 5 odds, so the remaining evens are here. This gives another odd. You ask, why is this important? Well, one of the early deductions you need to make in this puzzle is to, for instance, see if we're looking at the digit 5, we have lots of 5s given, is that at the start, these 3 cells look like they could contain a 5. But if you focus on this cell, when this column already has all the odds placed, the true 5 has to sit in one of these 2 cells only. And that gives a pointing pair to say that in the upper left region, the 5 is on the top row. And the exact same deduction is true at the bottom. This cell can't be odd after we go through and make the assignments. So a cell like this one right here is odd. Having identified these as odds, we can get that the partners at the ends of the columns are even. This space now just has 2 odd numbers left, 1 and 3. I see a 3 up top, so I'll just go and put that in. There's a symmetric deduction up here, which is these are the last 2 odds. To place, the 7 is already given, so we get a 9, 7. Let's, before I go too far with digits, just continue marking types of cells. So we've got these as odds, thinking about that region. We now need 1 even left in this row. This is an odd or even. Right now I don't know which. In this corner we have 2 odds left to mark. That means in this row we have an even left to mark. This now has 2 odds left. This column has all the evens marked. I'll actually just fill this in. This corner cell started actually with a 2, 6, 8 seeing it, so the 4 could have been your first digit. But having placed all the evens, what's left are odds. This row has 5 odds, so we've got another even. This row right now, this region right now has 5 odds, so both of these are even. This space, 1, 2, 3, 4 evens. This last one's an odd, and we have an either or here that we can't resolve yet. So these 2 at the starting state of the puzzle are 2 you're going to need to solve forwards to figure out what is what. From here, I guess some of the next things you'll want to do is very much start to place some digits, and you can choose to focus on odds or evens. In this particular grid, I think the odds are much easier. Is probably the experience you had if you tried to solve rather far, so we can just sort of focus on numbers we already have a fair bit of. We have 2 of each in the top and bottom columns, so we're sort of looking at the intersections of those directions. So something like this 9 and this 9 coming to here, got an equivalent 1 over there, puts a 1 here. The center region is actually pretty useful this time because we get a pointing pair. One of these 2 cells can't be 9. The 9's over there. We're left with just one option in the 5th column. That pushes this one to the left. That creates a pointing pair coming back down, so one of these 2 is a 1, so this top cell here. That actually finishes out this side. The 1 has to sit in that cell, so we get a 9. The last odd in that space is a 3. We will have a 5, 7 pair down here. The last 3 is over in that spot. We can get a 3 here. This is 7, 9, 7, 9, some order. What more do we know? This is a 3, 5 up here. If that's a 3, 5, the 3 in this region is in one of these 3 cells, but it's not here. This is an even cell, so the 3's on the left, so we can finish out our labeling like this. This is the last odd in this column. This is the last place a 7 can go. Makes this a 7. We have a 1 and 9 to place up here. We actually get the 7, 9 resolving now. 7's in one of those cells. Just looking, this is the last place for a 1 in these 3 columns. That puts a 1 here. That puts a 1 here. We have 7, 5, 1. We have 3 and 9 left to go in this space. So the last 3 that can sit in row 6 is over there. That makes this 9. The 7, 1, 3 quickly push themselves in that direction, sort of help you fill them in. We get a 3. That pushes this 9 down. The last 7's there. We can finish out 5, 3. And so that finishes the, I guess I have to write that digit there, but that finishes the odd part of the puzzle. And the even part is a lot trickier. And you can ask sort of how you go about solving or starting one of these things. Well, we can certainly just take the digit inventory right now. We have 2 2s, 2 4s, and a 6, 8. So there's a little bit you can do with some of these. For instance, one of these cells is a 6, one of these cells is a 6. But really, it's the repeated 2s and repeated 4s that we want to look at. Right now, a place to go with that is the 4s come to here. These 4s don't intersect nicely in this region, but these 2s intersect really nicely down here. So the 2 is the hot spot. To start, we get that 2 placed. We get a 2 note down here. We now actually have 3 spots left for an even in this column, but both 4s coming together eliminate the top and bottom. So this is a pretty hard step to see. It's not the hardest step, but it's the second hardest step. But I certainly paused and to find that when I was resolving this morning. So that 4 gets this 4, gets these. And we still haven't really done anything down below to make these 6 and 8 clues better. So now we're sort of struggling to find the next position. But again, it's going to be about the 2s or the 4s. And the one thing that should start to sort of get your attention in puzzles like this, I always, particularly if we have this kind of triplet pattern, cells that are going to be eliminating 2 and leaving just 1 option sort of set up a potential domino effect. It's kind of step sometimes called a skyscraper for those who actually give weird names to Sudoku terms. But the critical thing I sort of see is this kind of question. Let's think about this space. It's getting a 2, 6, and an 8, but the 2 is the digit we want to think about. If a 2 is in either of these cells, we know it's down here in either of these 2 cells. It's going to have to sit in that space. But it also, this is an exciting place to look at because these 2, either of these positions leave you a position down here, which leaves you a position here. So we actually have this, giving this, giving this. Collectively, all of the spots for a 2 in this column are eliminated. Let's think about that a different way. Let's say this digit were a 2. That's a 2, that's a 2. We get another 2 right here. That's no good. So the 2 is in one of these 2 cells. We cleanly get a 2 up top here. That makes this a 6, 8. This is 2, 4. This is 8. We now get an 8 here. 2, 4 sort of push each other. We just can finish out 4, 6. And from here, the puzzle will be a lot simpler to solve. It's really a matter of just not making a mistake from writing too fast. We got over the 2 hardest steps, this 4 there and positioning a 2 there. But hopefully you learned something from this exercise about how in a puzzle like an even odd Sudoku or even in some other styles, it's useful to do not so much digit-based thinking, but almost the pattern-based thinking where even and odd identifications will get you rather far. It's a pretty different way of just saying, well, you actually already knew you had a quartet, a 2, 4, 6, 8 quartet in these cells. You actually had a 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 quintet in these 5 cells, and so you can identify what's in the other positions. But it's something I was trying to highlight with this grid. Again, a puzzle that almost fully divides to even odd at the start if you know to do it, and then has challenging Sudoku steps to get all the way through to the end. It's not that if we even started with everything shaded, you'd have an easy walk in the park here. So hopefully you enjoyed the puzzle, didn't just think it was challenging and unfun, and we'll see you again soon.